on the ballot. As a top action, we should remember that the action of voting, I value moral action, meaning ethical conduct, since all action results from a reasoning and ability to recognize and self-awareness, the base of all philosophy. Alan Wood 1 writes, no object comes to consciousness unless I'm aware of myself and conscious subject, whether it be not my attention, not myself, but on the story. But if someone asks me what I'm doing, I reply immediately that I am reading myself. Awareness is required in just a moment, but it's been present all along. And awareness of an activity is present in our most past state of perception. Every thought we directly know an activity, and freedom our thinking is for us an act, and the I, the absolute principle of all philosophy, is nothing but this awareness of our own activity, which makes us conscious of our freedom by involving the capacity for reflection. Further, as actions result from self-awareness, we can't consider unintended consequences when judging the factors outside the actor's knowledge or control are relevant to our acts around us, since she had no way of avoiding them. Thus, arguments unrelated to voting's intended consequences don't matter. Next, the self-awareness that gives us the freedom to act also demands we recognize others' freedom in the form of rights. Wood 2 notes, the condition for forming conception of oneself is that the I is limited by others, since every free being wills to make use of his freedom. The I demand that others limit their actions so I can exercise my freedom, since I can't expect others to do so unless they treat them as rational beings. I've had to recognize all others and treat them accordingly. A reciprocal relation called the relation of right, hence the foundation of original rights at the base of any conceivable community of free beings. Since protecting freedom is impossible without a state, people create a government to embody their collective desire for rights protection. Thus, the state's fundamental purpose is to secure equal freedom for citizens. Frederick Newhouser shows. Outside state, people can violate the freedom of anyone who harms them because this makes enforcement of original rights highly irregular. The state's necessary to create a reliable law enforcement that deters rights violations and punishes offenders under shows requiring an individual to give up the right of coercion to the state. It has to be consent to be guided by a common or general will that's not reducible to the private wills of individuals, but instead the collective will of a new entity. Becoming a citizen requires to think of oneself not as a separate being with only private ends, but as a member of a community who cares about the general ends prescribed by the principles of right. This means my fairness is a prerequisite to autonomy, since rights can't exist outside a state that protects such ends. Autonomy without government enforcement is meaningless. Thus, the standard is preserving a system of equal freedom. Preserving a system of equal freedom means maintaining institutional guarantees that all people can make self-regarding choices, but coerce state action for a public purpose such as taxation or jury duty doesn't violate the same since serves a general rule that mass makes rights violations impossible. This means neg arguments that even violates autonomy don't link to my sentence about a system of freedom rather than each individual's absolute right to non-interference. My thesis and sole contention is that there's no freedom without force because voting is necessary for both the individual and the general will. CV preserves a system of equal freedom in two ways. First, it gives all citizens freedom from domination. Non-voting actively perpetuates systemic inequalities by letting dominant groups retain their hold on power. Heather Lardy 1 writes, non-voting threats to undermine electors formally equal democrats that by ensuring action influence those who do participate can dominate non-voters. CV enhance equality by triggering vulnerable citizen participation, requiring leaders to take account of their electoral preferences instead of falsely regarding their passivity as a personal choice. Freedom is non-domination promises, not exemption from intentional interference, but exemption from intentional arbitrary interference. To prevent this, voting must occur whether voluntary or under compulsion. The act of casting a vote is not. CV may only be represented as an interference with liberty by mischaracterizing the sort of freedom voting represents. Namely, freedom is non-domination, not non-interference with liberty, which the right not to vote asserts provides an inaccurate and impoverished account of the relation between freedom and voting. Further, the mere act of voting is enough to make the disenfranchised visible to the state. It doesn't matter how or why they vote, just that they vote. Lardy 2 notes. There's no need to ascribe to course voters only the outlooks about their role to assume they approach ballot box, but still in the line that the act of voting expresses liberty is non-domination, even if voters regard as an interference. They informally disenfranchise participation less than the risk their interests being perpetually disregarded by the elected, who have to address their group's rank. And CV brings into the electoral arena. If we take no measure to reenfranchise such people, liberty in the sense of non-domination will be threatened. Indeed, voting is necessary for freedom's non-domination, which is more essential than freedom's non-interference. Philip Pettit shows. Liberty refers to not being subject to another's arbitrary power when one needs material resources to be free. The ultimate unfreedom has happened to live in another's arbitrary will. Thus, freedom is conceived as non-domination, not as non-interference, for even if masters of kind don't interfere with their slaves, slaves are still unfree. Meanwhile, non-arbitrary interference can occur without any loss of liberty, since when it is controlled by and serves the interests of those affected. Thus, laws that answer systematically to people's general interests are a form of interference. They don't compromise liberty, and instead create the freedom that citizens share. Also, even as CV limits a single choice not to vote to protect freedom as a concept, accidental choice makeability, like selling oneself to slavery, undermine autonomy. Lisa Hill 1 writes, rather than unjustifiable burden imposed by a paternalistic state, CV is a benign coordinating mechanism for joint enterprise, political community, democratic equality, form of self-paternalism. There are some transactional decisions like selling oneself to slavery, failing to wear a seatbelt, that rationalism brain retrospectively wish they had made retrospective rationality, anticipates occasion, obviously individual by mistake or future interest and be protected from himself by legal compulsion. CV does this by serving reasons rather than desires and preferences. An Afro-American is sentenced to a life in slavery. The state would not recognize her attempt to waive her right to equal protection, but instead has an interest in maintaining society free from slavery. Thus, CV preserves equal access to freedom, not just a single autonomous act. Second, since democracy is a public good that advances citizens' interests, coercive acts like CV are justified to achieve a system of equal freedom. Since people consent to the general will to secure the equal freedom, the state can justifiably coerce them for a public purpose, democratic representation, and such a goal as it lets all citizens advance their interests. Thomas Christiano writes, democracy involves equality and voting power, which is the main way people have affirmed their fellow citizens' equality. Each has an interest in learning about his interests as well as justice, which best realizes the process of discussion where others take one of you seriously and respond to them. Democracy best asks that each person's judgment about how society ought to be organized be taken seriously. CV is in line with the public purpose of representation. Art Engelin proves. Political participation is crucial for democratic legitimacy. The more citizens obtain, the more elected bodies lose their accountability. In the European Parliament elections, more than half of the electorate abstains in 18 to 25 member states, so one can hardly speak of popular will. The more citizens express needs, the better the regime will take them into account. C, the actually increased determinants is relevant and to justify limit on autonomy so long as it promotes a system of equal freedom. Hill 2. People can be made voter conscripts to enjoy the freedom of living in a functioning democracy given the relatively low cost involved. Voting can be justifiably compelled so that all voluntary forms can flourish. There are times when one is to reduce the value to promote and if a particular right to find state structure that any individual's desire to waive is irrelevant. The right to vote is not just an individual right but exists to represent democracy of collective benefit. Thus, the right not to vote can't be universalized because it potentially destroy the democracy for which the right to vote exists. Thus, even a CV's coercive it serves a public purpose, preserving a system of equal freedom. As an underview, extinction is irrelevant under my firm because first, my firm is clearly intent-based. What's the one sets up that self-awareness is the defining feature of humanity and philosophy and the analytic entities that we can't consider unintended consequences because those are factors in the decision-making process of the self-aware agents' morality is based on judging their decisions. Second, Newhouser explains that original rights only exist in the concept of government because they're unenforceable everywhere. Extinction would mean there's no government, so it's an amoral impact under my standard. Three, just because extinction is necessary to get to the firm doesn't mean it's valuable in and of itself, so it doesn't impact the AC. Yeah, sorry. Sure. So the system of freedom is the structure in place that makes sure everyone can make choices. It's not just each individual's inviolable right to make choices, but a system that regulates those choices so that everyone can pursue the good.
Okay, so it's still based upon the individual freedoms of individual citizens.
Well, it's different in a couple of respects. The first is that those freedoms of citizens are constrained by the freedoms of other citizens. That's set up in Wood 1, that this reciprocity is necessary. So people's right to make choices is limited by other people's right to make choices.
Okay.
The second way it's different is Newhouser, which explains that people consent to a general will which acts for public purposes that everyone has an interest in. So the public purpose
so what
can
happens
constrain their
whenever
freedom because that's in their own interest.
What happens whenever a couple individuals underneath the system feel as though their outer freedom is being violated?
Sure.
Does that mean the system of freedom is gone?
Well, what do you mean by feel that their outer freedom is violated?
They feel like they have been violated. That's simply it.
Okay. Well, I would say one that they can't just like totally remove themselves from the system because that defeats the purpose.
I'm just wondering what happens
will.
in terms of our system of freedom whenever a majority of individuals feel as though they've been violated.
If it's a majority of individuals, then we do things to account for that. But the AC isn't really talking about like solving for
Sure, we
people's
might do
intent.
things
It's
to
about
account for
ensuring the
that, but
structure.
what happens to the system of freedom? Does it still exist?
I'd say like it's about the actual structure in place. So even if there's discontent, if there are
But if
means
the
of
structure
express-
is flawed and it's violating individuals,
well,
then
there's
it's
a
really
difference
structure
between a
freedom.
structure being flawed and people not being content with the system. So if there's a structure in place for people to like express their views or go out and vote, maybe be obligated to vote, then
But why
that
does
would
the
account for
structure
the
of
system.
freedom and system of freedom matter if the individuals underneath that system feel as though their outer freedom is being violated?
Because the problem with that conception is it's taking on an individualistic conception of what it means to be free. The problem with that is that Newhouser explains it's not about each individual's inviolable right to freedom, but the overall system.
Then how do
they
you
initially
understand the
consented.
will of everyone and their freedom?
It's-
You don't have to first look
No,
for
it's
the
not like a
individual's freedom.
majoritarianism, let's just give everyone what they want. It's about, let's make sure everyone has the capacity to express their preferences. So sometimes their preferences aren't met,
Okay, so
that's
if
to
everyone
ensure
doesn't
the
have the
overall system.
capacity to express their their freedoms or etc., what happens?
What if they don't have that capacity?
Yes.
Then that would be a violation of this standard. The AC shows that
Okay.
CV doesn't do.
Okay. So what does the Act defend? Do you defend implementation?
Do you want me to?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you defend in the United States?
I would say it's an on-balance democracy.
Okay, so is it in all democracies then?
What do you mean by like all democracies?
I'm
like
saying,
in the
I'm going
sense
to read
that
a politics this out, and I just want to know if it's going to link into the Act.
I'd say the link wouldn't be there because of the fact that
So you don't defend all democracies?
I defend
voting?
a principled democracy. The resolution is
So
a
you
question
don't
about what a
defend
democracy ought to do. I do defend implementation, but it's implementation in like a conception of a